Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Radha Vinu Vihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupan Gauri Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinu Vihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Hari Naam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Guccha, Vandeham, Shri Guru, Shri Uttapada Kamalam. And you should all stay for final darshan. Sudevi has given fresh new shringar to Shri Shri Radha Vihari Sachinandan Gaura Hari. Krishna Sambandha Vidyana Daine Brahmave Namaha Madhurya Jvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namaste Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinakarine Rupanugam Nirudhapam Siddhantam Vankaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairanya Murtaye Vippalam Bhara Sambodhe Padam Jayate Namaha Namo Bhaktivedanta Satchidanandamine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavalayate Gaura Virbhava Bhunesvam Nirvishta Sajanapriya Vaisnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaye Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhasute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jayatam Suragopango Mama Mandam Matirvati Vatsarvasvatmadam Gojo Radha Madanam Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpatumada Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanasto Shri Shri Radha Shri Govinda Devo Preshthalibi Semyamanusmarami Shri Mantra Sarasarandhi Vam Shivata Tapastikaha Karsham Venu Svanay Gopi Gopinatha Shri Vrindaye Tulasine Jai Priyaye Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatkai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupasvarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasani Gaura Bhaktivinoda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavakni Nirmapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Budivardhanam Pratipadam Purnavritashvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Ram Eva Kevalam Kalo Naste Manaste Manaste Gati Ranyaka Hare Krishna 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 Hare Gurudev Kave Mor Se Dina Habe. Page 34. And if you don't have a songbook, if you just follow the what Jiva Bhavana Prabhu posts there, in the comment section of the thread, he will post the bhajans along with their translations and the commentary. So thank you, Jiva Bhavana Prabhu, for giving that blessing to us. Gurudev Kave Mor Se Dina Have, page 34. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gopal Guru Bhakt ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai. Sakala Vaisnava Gosai, page 46. Sakala Vaishnava Goshai Goya Koro Yankalirupa Sharira Nadharata. The very next page, 47. Jaya Jaya Nityananda, Rohini Kumar, page 64. And if you do not have a songbook, then just scroll down to the most recent post or up of Jiva Pavana Prabhu, who mercifully posts the bhajans in the comment section of the thread. along with their translations and sometimes beautiful commentaries, so you may be able to follow along. Thank you, Prabhu. Dhanyavad. Go, 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 Avatar Sar Gorai Avatar, page 82 by Srila Lochan Das Thakur. Oh, the vibration from the speaker. Okay. Hare Krishna. This first before we sing it. O mind, why do you not worship Sri Gaura, the best of all incarnations? You always stay in water, but your thirst is never satisfied, satiated. This is the consequence of your own activities. O mind, You always serve thorn trees with the hope of obtaining nectarian fruits. My Gauranga is a wish-fulfilling tree of prema, but you consider him to be poison. O mind, searching for a sweet fragrance, you smell the palasha flower, which has no scent, and an insect has entered your nose. You suck on dry wood, mistaking it for sugarcane, so how can you get any sweetness? O mind, thinking it to be a necklace, you have put around your neck a snake that is the servant of Yama. You basked in fire, thinking it to be cool, and thus you suffer excruciating heat. O mind, you worship material existence, forgetting Sri Gauranga, and you fail to heed the advice of devotees. You have wasted both this life and the next, and thus you have destroyed your own self. Lochan Das Thakur has some pretty strong bhajans, but our Srila Prabhupada was quite fond of the bhajans of Lochan Das Thakur, and we sing many of them. Of course, he follows these with other bhajans as well, so it's just a very powerful bhajan chastising the mind that one should remember and meditate on Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Avataro sa Gaurayo Gautara Yanona Krishnadeva Bhamantam Vande, page 343, I believe. Page 110, Radha Bhajane Jadi Mati Nahi Bhela. And if you don't have a songbook, just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu, who very kindly posts the bhajans in the comments section of the thread. There you will find the bhajan and you can follow along. transported to Varshana, and I just saw the little road leading to Billy Bokar. And then I was thinking, Billy Bokar, why? And then I thought the tune, Billy Bokar. In 1996, we were staying at Modi Bhavan just across the road from a school in Varshana with our Srila Gurudev. And at that time he was staying in the Dharamshala or wherever we were. Most of the devotees were taking a place on the floor with a mosquito net, and there was a little room, but the places weren't fancy or anything. And so Srila Gurudev was staying right there, and we were all there with Gurudev. But somehow when we did our parikrama, we came through Pilipokar, which means yellow lake. So there's a whole history of why the lake became yellow. Srimati Radhika washed her hands in that lake. But then as we were coming through, the gate was locked, and so we couldn't get through that gate and come across the road. So we were waiting for quite a long time for someone to unlock the gate. And as devotees do, when they're waiting and they have nothing else to do, immediately they break out into kirtan, because there's always something to do for devotees. So I think it was Radha Priya and others, they were singing, and they started singing that Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So we called it Pilipokar, because it also matches with Pilipokar, because we sang it there the first time. So we titled it Pilipokar. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Gaur Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai, Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayanitti Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminitti Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astottara Shata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja. In the same thousands of Dandava Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astottara Shata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of those who are present with us today, I offer my Dandava Pranam.
Dandava Pranam, dear Vaishnavas, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. So today is the anniversary of my father's birthday, who has disappeared from this world a couple of years ago. It's interesting because usually, it's still popping up in my my phone. It says, it's his birthday. So usually I would send a birthday message to him, really more of a thank you message for helping me, for always encouraging me to follow the path of bhakti, to remember the lotus feet of our Guru Varga, to hold tight to the true conceptions of bhakti, and to not be persuaded in the slightest by all of the different varieties of cheating out there, even when it comes in the name of bhakti. He was quite uncompromising with all of that, and he encouraged us very strongly to also be uncompromising with it, even to the point of losing many friends, which we've also managed to do as well. But anyhow, what he was teaching, he always referenced, or what he was sharing, he always referenced with Shastra. It's better to avoid unfavorable association than to take that association, which can be detrimental for bhakti. And so he was always encouraging us, always motivating us to take deeper shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. And although he himself sometimes was fluctuating in his, the depth of his own practice of sadhana, he almost had a kind of hope or aspiration or desire that maybe we can do it. If he couldn't do it perfectly, maybe we could do it. So he would put a lot of emphasis on that. And although it was frustrating at the time, when I'm looking back, really this is the best thing that anyone can do for anyone, is to encourage them on the path of bhakti, to encourage them to dive deep. And although he shared so many things with me, the one main thing that really impresses itself within me, and I know I've mentioned it previously, I don't know if there's a recording of it, but he said that all of the young Gurukul children in Dallas Gurukul were taught how to sing the Brahma Sanghita. You know, Chintamani Prakarasatma Sukalpa Vriksha. So they did the whole thing. I think I still remember most of those. I wasn't in Dallas Gurukul, I was in Los Angeles and Bhaktivedanta Village, then Vrindavan here, and then Vancouver. Anyhow, so when Srila Prabhupada went to Dallas, there all of the Gurukul children, they sang this Brahma Sanghita, and all of the parents and all of the devotees were thinking, my God, these are Gandharvas descending from the heavenly planets, and they're here to bless us, and how beautiful and how wonderful. And Srila Prabhupada was quite grave at that time, and he just asked, do they know the meaning? And they said, not yet, Srila Prabhupada, we just taught them the Sanskrit, now we're going to work on the meanings. And Srila Prabhupada's reply to that was, the test of all of their education is that when they see a sadhu, they will fall flat like a stick before him, at the feet of the sadhu. This is the test of all of their education. And although I've received so much from my father, this particular remembrance of Srila Prabhupada's grave mood in that situation, and sharing that, the essence of all of our Shastra, the essence of all of our scriptures, all of the teachings of our Guru Varga, our whole process is to somehow submit to and take shelter of the lotus feet of the pure devotees of the Lord. Vaisnava Seva is everything. Even Krishna won't accept your service unless you submit to the lotus feet of his pure devotee. Pratamam tu gurum pujam, first of all, to do that. So these kind of foundational principles, my father taught me. He taught us. I remember sitting in the car with him when I was 7 years old, underneath the green building. If you've ever been to Los Angeles ISKCON Temple Community, there was a green building. And underneath is where the cars would park. So we were sitting inside the car park, and there he was teaching me the verses from Prahlad Maharaj. And that particular time he taught me Matirna Krishne Paratasvatova Mito Vipadyeta Graha Vratanam Adanta Gobir Vishatam Tamishram Punah Punashcharvita Charvananam. Prahlad Maharaj is telling Hiranyakashipu that even if I tell you about Krishna, because you're too absorbed and engrossed in trying to enjoy this material world, you cannot understand. Matirna Krishne. Without following the process of bhakti, what will you understand? And in the child Krishna stories tapes, when Prahlad Maharaj tells Hiranyakashipu, even if I told you, you could not understand. He says, I could not understand. So then, the last line I remembered very succinctly, because there it is said, Punah Punashcharvita Charvananam. Who is not engaging themselves in Krishna bhakti is simply busying themselves with chewing that thing which they have already chewed previously. And for some reason in a child's mind, the idea of it is quite funny. But the example that was given to me is if you're chewing on sugarcane and you extract all of the juice and it's just dry, but you keep chewing on that same sugarcane, what are you going to get? There won't be any juice. And I believe we just sang that bhajan avatar sar gaur avatar. In there, they're saying the same thing. Keep trying to extract juice from that thing which is completely dry. Sucking on dry wood, hoping to get sugarcane juice. You just won't get it. So, these kinds of impressions he gave us. And also, there was some time when he was inspired. after coming to the point of realizing that his spiritual life was suffering to such a great degree that if he could not find the answer to it, then Karuna na hoile kandiya kandiya. If you don't give me your mercy and at least awaken a spark of bhakti or any inspiration in my heart, then I have no reason to maintain my life. He told me this a year before he departed from this world. No reason to maintain my life. In other words, somebody who didn't have a bone in his body of that kind of nature was contemplating that I have no reason to live. If I'm dead already, spiritually dead, what am I here for? So he said after some time he began really contemplating, what is it that I may have done in the past that has created such a situation in my life where I was so inspired before, so fired up, morning, noon, and night, using all of my energy for serving, and now I have nothing. I'm dead inside. So he began really contemplating, thinking and thinking and thinking, and remembered, there was once upon a time when I may have committed aparad to one Vaisnava because he was not a member of my society. When his book came into my hand, I saw the name, I ripped it up and threw it in the garbage. Then he was thinking, what kind of person does something like that? Doesn't even give someone an opportunity and just like that. So he secured a copy of that book, Sri Guru and His Grace. After great difficulty, it took some months, but he finally received it. He read that book and he began weeping and crying, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? But already the author of that book had disappeared from this world. So he was discussing with devotees.
Just one correction, because in the way you said it, you said he told you this a year before he left this world, but this happened like 30 years before, but he was revealing that to you.
Yes.
I just want to make that clear.
Clarity. Okay.
That's all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. So this happened many years before he departed this world. He didn't depart this world by taking his own life. That's not what I'm trying to say.
No.
But I understand, yes. So I get it.
Okay.
So he read this book and he was weeping, Sri Guru and His Grace, regretting and repenting, what have I done? What have I done? But already the author of that book, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, actually he spoke it in lectures. He had already disappeared from this world. So my father made a vow that from this day, whomever I meet, I will tell them about this book and also glorify the author. This was his repentance. And he did just that. And because of that, even I was doubting, should I associate with him? Because he's inspired by that person, as many of you may know. So, anyhow, like we've heard in the history of Haridas Thakur, when those two guards, those two servants of the Nawab were whipping him, and he said, I forgive you. But still Krishna didn't forgive them. Srila Gurudeva Maharaj says, why didn't Krishna forgive them? How is an aparadhi forgiven? Really? When they weep, when they seriously repent. These two are just begging forgiveness because they themselves were afraid of being killed. If you don't die, then we will be killed. Please forgive us. We know that you're a saint. But still, they said, oh, look, he said, just see how I die, Haridas Thakur said. So then they said, okay, now you get the burial of a Muslim, of a Hindu, even though you were born in such a prestigious Muslim family. But because you acted like a Hindu, so they threw his body in the Ganga. So Vrindavan Das Thakur said they still had to go to hell. So Srila Gurudeva Maharaj asked the question, why did they still have to go to hell after he said, I forgive you? How is it that one can be forgiven? He said, a Vaishnava never accepts any offense, but Krishna accepts offense on their behalf. So how do you know that you've truly been forgiven? He said, when you melt their heart to such an extent that they again give you Krishna in the form of Harikatha, because Krishna is the property of his pure devotees. O Vaishnava Thakur, Krishna se tomar, Krishna dite paro, tomara shakati ache, Amito Kangal, Krishna, Krishna boli dhai taba pache pache. Krishna is yours. You have the power to give Krishna. You can give Krishna. You have that Shakti, you have that power. So if the Vaishnava's heart melts and again they give Krishna in the form of Harikatha, then you will know Krishna himself is completely controlled by the love of his devotee. He has no choice but to accept what the Vaishnava has given. So we see that in my father's life, although this particular personality had disappeared from this world, he was thinking, what can I do? So he was repenting for some time. And then, after some time, another pure devotee manifested in his life and began giving him Harikatha, Krishna in the form of Harikatha. That is Srila Bhaktivedanta, Narayan Goswami Maharaj.
But also anyone he met, he would give that book to. It was the very first thing he ever gave me. On a side note, J.S. Das wrote this. It's not very long, but it's to do with that story, which I found really interesting.
Okay.
So if you can read it, because it puts something into perspective as well.
Also, my father had met with Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj and heard from him and was giving him so much honor and respect. He was listening also to Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, hearing from him and giving so much respect. So many Vaishnavas came into his life subsequent to that deep prayer of repentance. And in his last year of being in this world, he was seeking and searching. He was writing so many senior Vaishnavas, please can you tell me more? And in secret, he was going deeper and deeper into his own bhajan. Maybe not even knowing that he was going to disappear, because it didn't seem that he even knew. He was walking around that morning. But anyhow, he was still searching and seeking. He was asking me about the Seva Kunj paintings and so many things. So he was making that forward motion to dive deeper into his bhakti sadhana. So J.S. Das, that is Jnana Shakti Prabhu from Canada, who's doing the Jaiva Dharma classes, which you should also avail yourself of if you have the opportunity.
He just wrote this.
He just wrote this to Sudevi. Dandavat Pranam. Just read your short Pushpanjali to Matiladish Prabhu. That's the name of my father. A little side note. Like many, I found Sri Guru and his grace to be life-changing. Thus I gave a copy to my very dear friend, Riksharaj Prabhu, Radharaman Prabhu from Eugene, while we were neighbors at Gitanagari in Pennsylvania at the end of the 80s. The book also changed his life. In 1991, I moved my family to Sharanagati, that's the farm north of Vancouver, and Radharaman moved to North Carolina, the farm where he met Matiladish, my father, and they became friends. So my father was living in North Carolina at the time. Radharaman then learned of Matiladish Prabhu's feelings of despondency and gave him that copy of Sri Guru and his grace. Apparently that book had such an impact that Matiladish decided to sell off in North Carolina and move to Eugene to be with like-minded souls. So hearing that story from Radharaman Prabhu warmed my heart. Matiladish Prabhu ki jai. Wow. So there's a bit of history I never knew.
I just thought
a little bit of book distribution to Vaishnavas goes a long way. This is book distribution among Vaishnavas. Today, Janardhan Prabhu said, I don't care what anyone else says, he posted it on his Facebook, book distribution to Vaishnavas is the best. That's what he wrote. And I thought that was just so sweet. But seeing this, actually, this is the function of devotees, and especially like-minded devotees, that we should encourage each other and help each other. Because everyone is suffering in this material world due to karmas. But in spirituality, on the path of bhakti, we have an opportunity to share with each other. What is going on? What happened? You used to be so fired up, you used to be so inspired, and now you're in such a desperate situation. Can I help you in any way? This is compassion, especially toward those jivas who are really on the path. It is the most sad thing to see any jiva who is actually taken to the path of bhakti and then due to this or that situation loses their enthusiasm and goes away. Because they've come so close, so close. So even our Srila Prabhupada, He said, we brought in enough. He said, we don't need to thin the milk any longer. Now we should condense it. That means we should all go deep into understanding, studying the Shastras, really diving deep into the inner meanings and doing bhajan. And then from there, what manifests will be so powerful and potent. But just adding more and more water to the milk. And today, we were boiling our milk in Vrindavan. This is kind of common. We were boiling our milk and it just wasn't boiling over. It was just kind of like very wet looking, like there was water mixed in. So Sudevi's like, something's wrong with this milk. It's just not doing what it should do as milk should do. So in India, I remember many years ago, my father said that when they were here in Vrindavan, they were trying to get fresh milk every day from the Goshala. And the devotees were like, there's water in it, there's water in it. And they're like, nah, there's no water in it, no way. And then they went to watch the man milking the cow. Because he's like, yeah, so you can watch me. And so they were there watching him, and they were like, but it's still so watery. Why is it so watery? And then they were watching even closer. And they discovered that he had a bag with a little hose. And the bag was under his arm, and the hose was coming down his shirt. And as he was milking the cow, he would squeeze it, and a little water would come down his hand. How desperate he was to dilute that milk. So Srila Prabhupada said there's no more necessity for dilution. We should try to concentrate and condense, make something very thick, very substantial, and then from there, the potency will be so powerful to share around the world. Hey Prahlad, Radhe Radhe, my brother's there. So, from my perspective, although my father had so many, I would say he wasn't perfect. Everyone who knew him. And, you know, he had this tendency of talking for a long time and about the old times. So he was always remembering the old times, sometimes 10 hours at a time. And people would be like, oh my God, I have to go to the bathroom. I have to eat. I have to do something. He would be really excited when he would come into devotee association. That was one of the specialities I noticed about him. In any other circumstance, he was just pretty depressed, actually. He was just kind of like this. But when the opportunity came for him to be with devotees and discuss topics of Krishna Bhakti, if it was about devotion and bhakti, that's what gave him life. Everything else was quite depressing for him. Any kind of compromise in bhakti, any kind of compromise in Shastra, these kinds of things, he just wouldn't tolerate compromises in Shastra. Or even when devotees would try to impress on him that he needed to know so many things about the material or mundane aspects of this world. So he was always endeavoring to at least try to encourage me and whoever he would come around, even though he may not have been perfect himself, that we should try to endeavor for bhakti, try to seek the association of Vaishnavas, try to follow the process of bhakti. In this connection, one devotee wrote me something interesting today. He was saying that there was another devotee who was trying to convince him that he was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, reborn, and that this devotee needed to heal him because he had all sorts of potential diseases within him, and he was telling him all of this stuff, and he actually became a little bit confused. These kinds of things are not favorable for bhakti. We should hear from those who are either authorized transcendental sources or, and I'm adding this because Srila Gurudev added it, those who are representing that transcendental source without deviation, without adding, mixing, compromising, or twisting. If I'm a nonsense, I don't need to justify my nonsense in the name of bhakti. Let bhakti be pure and let me admit I'm a nonsense. But I shouldn't justify, it's okay because, and then try to weave it into bhakti. Then it is not bhakti anymore. It becomes some other kind of thing, some weird Frankenstein kind of mixture which is actually very detrimental for bhakti. If we want to follow an auspicious course in life, I am quoting Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada here in his Upadeshavali. If you want to follow an auspicious course in life, come on, where is it? If we desire to follow, I was looking for want, an auspicious course in life, then disregarding the theories of even countless people, we should hear instructions only from a transcendental source. So these days, we all know that there are so many thousands and millions of theories. And honestly, most people are just on their computers at home absorbing the theories and representing them as if they're absolute fact, when they absolutely do not know that they're absolutely anything. So we can have a choice of what we want to accept as those who are aspiring Vaishnavas, as those who are aspiring to serve and please Sri Guru, Gauranga and Radha and Krishna. We should accept the theories, not the theories, the truths, only from a transcendental source, meaning from pure devotees or those who are representing the teachings of pure devotees without adulteration. Now, when it comes to conditioned souls like myself, endeavoring to represent, I asked Srila Gurudev one time, what can I do? You're telling us that wherever we go, we should sing about Krishna, chant his names, and tell other people about Krishna. But my heart is full of so many anarthas, lust, anger, greed, madness, envy, and pride. What benefit will others get by hearing my glorification of Krishna and my chanting of the names of Krishna? And he quickly retorted, oh, some Shakti will be there because you are under guidance. And this was very essential, because you are under guidance. So to be under guidance means that I don't deviate. As a conditioned soul, I don't have a right to deviate. The conditioned soul has a tendency, four tendencies. Brahm, the tendency to come under illusion. Pramada, the tendency to make mistakes. Karanapatava, the tendency to have imperfect senses. And Vipralipsa, the tendency to cheat others. Why am I saying that I don't have a right to deviate? If I deviate even slightly from the teachings of my Gurudev and Guru Varga, then who knows if it will be right or wrong? That's why I'm saying I don't have a right to deviate from that. And I don't have a right to add, mix, or place anything which is not in line with those teachings as those teachings. Let those teachings be pure. Let the words of the pure devotees be as they are. And Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, he explained that there is something else which can be considered as evidence. And that is one's own practical experience, which is aligned with or in line with the teachings of Shastra. So when someone is spouting so many theories, there was one girl who was going around in New Braj during the festival. Not a girl, one lady. And she was claiming to be a palm reader. Now, everyone loves to hear about themselves, so people can sit there for hours and hear about themselves. When Hari Katha comes, maybe half an hour, but when you hear about yourself, 3 or 4 hours, maybe all night. Oh, I'm going to do this. What? How many children? What? How many husbands? No. All of these kinds of things we can listen to with great rapture and great taste. We can listen to these things. And then she was telling all of the young ladies, oh, you're going to get breast cancer, you're going to have this problem, and everyone started freaking out, like that. This is not beneficial for anyone. This only creates undue distress, which is not helpful for one to progress on the path of bhakti. So, all of these different kinds of opinions, even back in the time of Y2K. Remember Y2K? Y2K, that was the year 2000. That was the year all the computers were supposed to stop working and the world was supposed to stop. It happened in 2020, so 20 years later, but they said Y2K. So all of the astrologers and all of the advisors were telling everyone, stock up on beans, stock up on rice, stock up on bottled water. Everything's going to end as you know it. So people were buying up tons and tons of stock of stuff. And January 1st hit. And everything just continued as it always had. And all of these people were freaking out for years. And there was nothing to it. There's only one reason we need to freak out. Gora pahuna bhajiyamainu, prema ratana dana hilaya harainu. Why have I not served or worshipped Sri Gaura Sundar? Why am I willingly drinking the poison of this material world and not accepting what is really good for me? Why am I not progressing in the path of bhakti? Why am I not thinking about what is my greatest treasure? Why am I absorbing myself in so many worthless material pursuits? Just before this evening session, I was outside speaking with Didi, and she was saying, we don't know when anything will just finish. And then what was it all for? But something we can take with us. We can take our bhakti sukriti. We can take our material desires. We can take all of our material impressions. But anything, not even a hair on your head, can you take. All of these things, what can you do with them? And those things will keep us bound in this material world. So one girl just wrote me the other day, and she asked me, what is sukriti? Sukriti. There's two different kinds of sukriti. There's the sukriti which is referred to as those good merits, janma koti shukritar nalabhyate, shukriti. Millions of births of doing good deeds in this material world, like warning people about dangers, helping people when there are floods and hurricanes, marching with signs and screaming about this or that, voting for this one over that one or this one over that one. All of these supposed good deeds, this rights and that thing and all of these things, giving charity to the poor, money this way, food and all of that kind of thing. Building hospitals, free hospitals. Janma koti shukritar nalabhyate. This is sukriti, means you can get good material merits for it, which can elevate you materially within samsara. So elevating someone materially within samsara is, it's just good karma. It's the other side of the same coin. In the material world, it is said that good karma and bad karma are all bad. Why? Because you enjoy the result of your good karma, and then, to the extent that one enjoys, they will have to suffer. This is called samsara. Sometimes rising up, then going down through so many different species of life. But, abrama bhuvanaloka punak avartinojina, from the highest planet in the material world, down to the lowest, all are places of misery. So, whether one is going up or coming down, if they're still remaining within the mundane goodness, passion, or ignorance modes, then it's still trapped within the confines of the material energy. So, janma koti shukritar nalabhyate. There's material sukriti, means doing good things in this material world, and then there's bhakti sukriti, spiritual merits. And bhakti, or merits of bhakti, meaning all of those activities that we do under the guidance of Vaishnavas for the purpose of awakening our devotion to Krishna. This is called bhakti sukriti. Shravanam, kirtanam, vishnu smaranam, padasevanam, archanam, vandanam, dasyam, sakyam, atma nivedanam. All of the processes of bhakti, hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, serving, doing arti, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming a servant of the Lord, surrendering oneself to the Lord, sadhu sangha, associating with pure devotees, doing nam kirtan, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures which are awakening devotion to Krishna. residing in Sri Vrindavan Dham, doing parikrama, serving Thakurji, honoring Purushottam Vrat, Kartik Vrat, Ekadashi Vrat, all of the holy days, honoring the days of the Vaishnavas. All of these activities, these build bhakti sukriti, spiritual merits. And on the foundation of that, when any other thing comes, like Harikatha, with that foundation, then we will have the capacity to receive and also to comprehend and then to act upon those instructions or those teachings by the power of the sukriti, the spiritual merits in our spiritual bank account, if you want to call it that. By that, we can move forward, but millions of lifetimes of ordinary material sukriti or good merits will not afford us the opportunity for bhakti. The root qualification for Krishna Bhakti Ras is the intense, greedy desire to have it. The intense, greedy desire to have it. And that intense, greedy desire can only come in the association of those who also have that kind of burning in their heart. Meaning in the association of the devotees of Krishna, one can awaken their devotion to Krishna. So, serving Vaishnavas is one of the best ways to attain bhakti sukriti. The dust from their lotus feet, the water which has bathed their feet, charanamrita, and the remnants of their foodstuffs, hearing their harikatha, serving in so many ways, this will amass within us massive amounts of bhakti sukriti, following Ekadashi, Purushottam Vrat, all of the activities that they give us. This will increase our thirst for Krishna Bhakti Ras, Krishna Trishna. Now we have so much asat trishna. This is called anartha. Asat trishna means thirst for everything which is not true or not real. It means all the millions of countless millions of theories of this world, all of the different ideas of what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is not. But none of that will help us at the time of death. It can help to bind us in this material world, but it will not help us when it comes time to leave this world, that we will be thinking of and meditating upon Krishna, upon the mercy of the Vaishnavas, upon Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, upon Harinam. None of that will be able to help us. So all of these sukritis, they're essential for us. The more we amass, the more we will be able to understand, comprehend, and we will be able to move forward. I read it today from, Srila Gurudev. Someone posted it to me on WhatsApp. If we utilize all of these things in Krishna's service, this can be yukta vairagya. If we use it for everything else, it can be completely detrimental. It's the same with walking down the street. How we associate, who we associate with, and what we associate with can be the difference between awakening devotion or awakening mundane sentiment or awakening more material desire. So in every situation, what can be favorable and what can be unfavorable, we can see how can we make this situation favorable. So a devotee sent me something from a pure Vaishnava, which I readily read, and in there, I believe it was Srila Gurudev who was speaking about this subject, that if one is making rapid and strong endeavor to follow the instructions of Guru, and also to give up their anarthas, if they're making an honest endeavor, taking shelter of Harinam and following those instructions, then when they hear or receive any information about Krishna or Krishna Tattva, they will be able to understand and assimilate it. Many might have this experience. Look back 20 years ago or 30 years ago, and then look now. Maybe 20 or 30 years ago, so many of these conceptions might have just been like right over our heads. Or maybe it would just hit us and we would be so dense like a brick. That's how I saw myself when I look back. Oh my God, it's shockingly embarrassing that whatever was coming to me, it was like Gurudev would be speaking Harikatha, not speaking, manifesting the glories of Krishna, and I would be drawing, water tanks for planning for the water tank that I was going to build in the mountain in Fiji or something like that. And then I didn't get anything, and I was like, oh my God, 1 or 2 notes here and there. I just didn't understand the value of who was in front of me and what they were giving at that time. But gradually over time, in the association of other Vaishnavas, we begin to appreciate what is there in front of us. And then we really don't realize what we have lost until that association, direct association, is no longer in our presence. And then we go, oh my God, what did I do? I asked Sudevi something recently. Someone had asked a question about if you could go back. I think it was 20 years and do it all over. Or you go back 3 years. Go forward 3 years with $50 million in your account. Which one would you choose? You go back 20 years and do it all over, or go forward 3 years with $50 million in your account. So you just lose three years of your life, but you got $50 million. Which one would you choose? So I asked Sudevi, I'm like, which one would you choose? She said, that's easy. I would go back 20 years. And she's like, I would make every moment count with my Gurudev. Forget the 50 million, my Gurudev. She was like, I would go back and do it all over again and do it right. Knowing what we know now. And this really is a beautiful testament, that we should have that kind of enthusiasm that yes, because if that opportunity comes, that means that if that opportunity comes right now, that any Vaishnava of that caliber manifests in our life, that we have that same kind of faith in, that we would also fall at their feet and listen and drink it as if it is the only drop of water in a desert that we're going to receive, with that kind of enthusiasm and that kind of desperation that I will take every drop that you're giving. That kind of enthusiasm should be there. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that. Let me just see, I haven't seen if there are any comments or critiques or anything. Oh, one devotee. Charudasi was mentioned about, I guess it was my father. He was so encouraging as new aspiring devotees, and like little eager sponges, we loved when he would speak. He had a particular ability to recall verses, shlokas. I think he, even up until the time he departed this world, he actually knew and remembered probably a lot more than I remember now. And I think that's quite amazing, because not so many had that ability to remember so many shlokas, but he was always remembering that. And at least for me, he would try to always remind me of Krishna, of my real calling, which should be for bhakti. And he didn't want to see me become weak. He always wanted to encourage that. When we were selling t-shirts on the streets in Seattle, I don't know if you saw, but the pier just collapsed, not the pier, but part of the Seattle waterfront just collapsed into the water. So I used to sell t-shirts right there. And in many other places around Seattle, we had about 10, 15 of us working and selling t-shirts. And it just so happened that Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj was coming for the first time to America. This was 1996, and he was coming to our place in Seattle, which is literally right next door to the place where Srila Prabhupada was when our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, departed from this world, where Prabhupada was crying in bereavement, in separation from his godbrother, and had all of his disciples, not so many at that time, 1968, but he had them all sign this letter of bereavement, and he was glorifying his godbrother who gave him sannyas, which goes to prove that we cannot place a blanket statement on all Gaudiya Vaishnavas because then we could very, very easily become subjected to the opportunity for making severe Vaishnava aparad. Sure, some people may be bad, but so many were very, very good, very dear to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and also very dear to our Srila Prabhupada. So he was glorifying this godbrother of his. So Gurudev came and stayed in that place where we were. It was our sweatshop. We were manufacturing the t-shirts and then going out and selling them in the streets. And my father had already published that book, Shri Ashoka, based on a lecture of Srila Gurudev's about Shukadev Goswami as the parrot of Srimati Radhika. And he had great fondness for my Gurudev. That was one of the things he told when I went to India in 96, Gurpurnima time, that I should go and hear, offer my respects to Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj and hear from him, and to Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj and hear from him. So this was his desire for me, for going to India, and he gave me a little extra money just to make sure I would do such a thing. So I was the #1 salesperson. When others would do, maybe they'd make $500 in a day, I would make sometimes 2,000 or 3,000. I just had a certain kind of knack on the streets for doing that. And being the #1 salesperson, it was essential that I was out there and I would get the good spots on the waterfront. My biggest day ever was like 800 t-shirts. Anyhow, the day that Srila Gurudev was coming, my father ordered, you pack up early and you come back early. And I was like, but I'm selling shirts, and he said, I don't care. Throw it all, he said, I don't care. Throw it all in the bin and come back early. And I didn't do that. And when I came back even a little bit late, he was quite upset with me. He's like, that's not important. This is important. This is important that you associate with the Vaishnavas, that you hear from the Vaishnavas. And I was a little bit like, I had no real attraction to that. But for him, it was everything. And then somebody was trying to convince me to take initiation based on my astrology and this and that. And I was just like a little bit discombobulated, and he pulled me aside and he was like, what's going on? And I just told him, I said, I'm not into this whole thing, whatever it is. And he's like, that is not what he's about. Don't listen to all that. You listen to him. So he was very encouraging. He was always encouraging me to read Sri Guru and His Grace by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. He wanted me to understand the absolute necessity for Sri Guru. He never forced me on anyone, but he wanted me to become attracted to enter that process, to take shelter of Sri Guru, and to follow the path of bhakti. This was always his desire for me and his pressure. In fact, he also was responsible for breaking us out of our shell of the tendency to just generally criticize any Vaishnava outside of our institution. And so it was that by the time Srila Gurudev came along, we were open to sitting and listening to his Harikatha. So he was also greatly responsible for affecting Sudevi as well in that way. And he was very strong in encouraging us on that path of bhakti. And for that, I am always indebted to him. So I wouldn't say perfect dad, because, also there's example, but he was always trying to help me, encourage his children, you could say, to move forward on the path of bhakti. He wasn't perfect in his approach. He was a human being, but I have faith that he had strong sincerity in his heart. But I didn't want to make my whole class about that. I've actually spoken about a couple of different things. But I would like to continue going beyond Vaikuntha with you, because Srila Gurudev was speaking about a very, very deep subject. He was speaking about real kirtan versus false kirtan. And because I have been known as a kirtan leader, or someone who does kirtan for so many years, he's really speaking to me. Of course, he's speaking to each individual according to where they're at, but I see like, okay, people are like, oh yeah, Kishori Mohan, you know the guy who plays harmonium, who sings, who was singing with Krishna Das, who made all those CDs, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Gurudev is talking to me. The first thing he said to me when in Seattle in that house, do you know the difference between kirtan and sangeet? Because I had listened to him singing Gauranga Balite Have every single day when I was doing the cut-up for the deities in ISKCON Los Angeles Temple, 4 o'clock offering. I would cut their fruit and I would only listen to Gurudev singing. You know, Radhe Radhe Govinda. I loved it. And I thought, my God, this is real kirtan. One day I want to go and learn kirtan from him. This was my desire. Every day. And then he came to that house where we were living in Seattle. Stayed in a very simple place, in a simple way. So that next day, or that afternoon, yes, he had me sing Gauranga Balite Have. So I sang Gauranga Balite Have just like I had learned it from him on his cassettes. Gauranga Balite Have. And then he looked at me and was like, oh. And then he said next part, so I did the next part. Then he controlled it and I just followed along. And at the end he asked me, do you know the difference between kirtan and sangeet? And I said, no. And he said, sangeet is technical ability. Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. He said, kirtan is transcendental sound vibration descending from Goloka Vrindavan into your heart. So right there I was like, God, wait a second, there's two different things going on here. One was technical ability. I want to learn kirtan from him. I want to learn kirtan like Krishna Das. I want to learn kirtan like that guy. I want to be able to like hit the, you know, that punch and that alap here and do this there. That's not kirtan. Kirtan is transcendental sound vibration descending into your heart. Golokera premadhana, harinama sankirtana. And then he said, after you receive harinam, then your kirtan will become potent. So this was one of the first teachings that Srila Gurudev gave me. And then when I went to India that same year, in 96, in Mathura, this was where we started our parikrama, Sri Keshavji Gauriya Math, one of the first instructions Srila Gurudev gave me there, you should always sit right in front of me so that I can use you for kirtan whenever I like. That's a big statement. That means even I'm not the doer of kirtan. I just need to be waiting there for seva to be utilized as an instrument. So he would direct it. He would do this, do that. I didn't think about all the saffron-clad people, all the sannyasis or brahmacharis. I just sat in front of him and I was just waiting. Okay, Gurudev, what do you want me to do? And I just would do it. I would sit there. And then somehow I would have to put the keyboard or harmonium underneath his asan, his vyasasan, when I was finished. So he allowed me to sit right in front and he would direct me accordingly. So he was speaking about real kirtan versus not real kirtan. Now, not real kirtan, he said the harmonium player is thinking, how expert is my harmonium playing? Who's appreciating? And the singer is thinking, oh, how wonderful is my singing? And then the mridanga player is like, who's looking at me? Check this out. When I play mridanga, I can move like that. And the kartal player is like, watch this. Ding, ding, ding. They have all these, who's watching me? This reminds me, in Sri Keshavji Gauriya Math, I don't know what year, 1998 or 99, Tamal Krishna Brahmachari was playing the harmonium and singing very beautifully. And I was sitting there, so many devotees were sitting there, and we were waiting for Srila Gurudev to come out. So he came out, he sat on his vyasasana, and then he looked and he said, why are you playing that? He said, a brahmachari should never touch a musical instrument. He said, you should give it to him. And I was like, I don't want that thing. I don't want it. And Gurudev said, you will only be thinking, oh, which beautiful lady is watching me, who's appreciating my singing and how beautiful it is. He said, a brahmachari should never touch a musical instrument. You take it. And he had him give it to me. And I didn't want it. And at that moment I was thinking, I prefer mridanga. But Gurudev ordered it. And then he looked at Nemi Maharaj. That time his name was Jnanadas Prabhu. And he said, where is your violin? And he said, oh, it's in Delhi being repaired, Gurudev. Srila Gurudev said, you should arrange for a violin immediately. A man should never be without his instrument. And we were like, oh, what is this? So on the one hand, he was giving an instruction and a chastisement, and the next he was also giving an instruction. So the order of Guru is the life and soul of the disciple. So he would utilize me. He didn't even like the harmonium. Gurudev didn't like it so much. He wanted me to play the keyboard with the strings in the background because he saw how the mood in the devotees' hearts would be different. When it was harmonium, it was a little bit kind of light. And with the keyboard, with the strings, it would get really heavy. Even the mood that Krishna Das would sing in and the mood that Tamal would sing in, I would notice a stark contrast just with those heavy strings in the background. And Gurudev would always ask for the pathetic mood, that mood evoking pathos. And you could see in those old kirtans, not old, but 96, 97, 98, when we were in San Francisco or anywhere else, he would have us singing that Australia Hare Krishna tune. Hare Krishna, like that. And then he would stop us. And then he would say, now the gopis are searching for Krishna, searching here and there. Where is he? Like this. And he would talk about their moods. So he wanted that whatever we did on the path of bhakti, any activity we did would be surcharged. This is Sukirtan. Surcharged kirtan means with a deep mood and an intention. How to increase that feeling of devotion, of loving service, that mood of submittance and surrender. How can I adjust my consciousness in such a way that whatever activity I'm doing becomes favorable for the forward movement, the increase of my devotion to Krishna? And this was an amazing expertise of our Srila Gurudev, to always bring it to that. Try to dive deep into those moods. Don't just do it on the outside, on the external. And he himself would bring us like a meditation. I remember when he wanted to tell us about Mahaprabhu's teachings to Rupa Goswami in Dashashvamedha Ghat. This was Prayag, or the Sangam of Ganga, Jamuna, Saraswati, Triveni Sangam at Dashashvamedha Ghat. So Gurudev would say, now we're going to hear the glories, the katha between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami, Rup Shiksha. So you should all come with me to this Triveni Sangam, where the three rivers meet, there in Prayag. And there we should bathe 3 times. And he would bring us there by mind and by heart. He would say, leave everything else behind. Give me all of your senses. All of your senses. Now bathe 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now we will sit with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami on the banks of this Dashashvamedha Ghat, on the banks of the Ganga. And now we will hear how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking to Rupa Goswami. He would just transport us all and bring us by heart and by mood to be there in that association. And then he would speak on that subject. How beautiful and expert he was in transporting us away from all of this, the temporary aberrations, the glitter of this material world, and bringing us into the substantial reality of Gaura Prem, of Radha and Krishna's love and affection, of the mercy of the Vaishnavas. So, before entering into this going beyond Vaikuntha, this transcendental treasure, which is one of the commentaries of our Srila Gurudev on the beautiful manifestation of the heart of Sanatan Goswami known as Brihad Bhagavatamrita, we will pray in the words of Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairag Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatne Apayanan Mam Anubhipshamandam Kripam Vidyapara Duk Duki Sanatana Spam Prabhum Ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods which are present within these pages manifest within our hearts. Srila Gurudev said we should never see our transcendental literatures as just books. Rather, we should see them as a manifestation of the heart of those personalities, non-different. So you are not a book. You are the heart of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. You are the heart of Sri Sanatan Goswamipada. Please be merciful to me and allow me to even be able to receive one particle of the moods which are present within here. So, speaking about kirtan. What is real kirtan? I shared yesterday. It's funny, I always remembered it being the best kirtan of Krishnadas Prabhu. Now we know how expert he was in making thousands jump up and dance and everything. I knew Krishnadas as a person and as a friend, and I sat next to him every day. So I could also know when he was more serious and less serious, because he would let me know. He would say something or make some little nudge or whatever, like, oh, did you see that alap or anything like that? So he would do things like that. It wasn't that he was just like, he was also a human being, and he had fun, and he liked to joke and laugh and everything else, and sometimes he'd be like, check that out, I did this one a lot, how was it? No, it was really good, like that. It wasn't always like that, but sometimes. But that's why I said the best kirtan, and I didn't realize it. Actually, Krishnadas could not fully sing it. He started singing Jayanilo Premadhana in separation from his Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta, Vaman Goswami Maharaj, on the occasion of the disappearance of Srila Vaman Maharaj. He started singing it, and he could not, his voice choked up. And then he tried again, and his voice choked up more. So I remember that experience. I remember recording it. I remember mixing it and even making it available for others to hear. But I didn't remember that Tamal Krishna Brahmachari was singing the rest. I said this is the best kirtan that Krishnadas ever did as far as I'm concerned. The best one that I've ever heard. Why? Because his voice choked up in separation from his Gurudev. He tried to sing and he couldn't, and then tears started pouring from his eyes. He put his head on his hand and was weeping inconsolably the whole time, as Tamal was trying to fill in for him, and he was also weeping, and everyone else was weeping. It was the best kirtan that I've ever heard from Krishnadas. He was weeping in separation for a pure Vaishnava. His heart was breaking, and his voice was choked up. Tears were pouring from his eyes, and he could not say anything. That was his kirtan. We heard once that on the disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, the anniversary, maybe 1994, 95, before Gurudev started traveling to the West, Srila Gurudev started speaking of the pranam mantra of his Gurudev. Just to start, Nama Om Visnupadaya, boom, he just started weeping and weeping and weeping. He didn't speak anything the entire time. I think they said he almost got through the pranam mantra and only weeping. And all the devotees were sitting there crying with Gurudev. He never spoke anything. He almost got through his pranam mantra, through his own Gurudev's pranam mantra. And that was his offering to his Gurudev, the offering of tears. Srila Gurudev said, Krishna is not so concerned with all of our thousands and thousands of words. Krishna likes one tear more than thousands of words. One tear. When I first, maybe 2008 or 2009, I think it was 2008, Sudevi was sitting in Gurudev's room, and many devotees were there, but she was sitting there kind of weeping, just crying and holding her head. And Gurudev looked at her and he just said, thank you for your tears. He said, before everyone used to weep all the time, he said, but no one cries anymore. Thank you for your tears. This melts the heart of Guru. This melts the heart of Krishna. This melts the heart of the pure devotees. When they see a heart full of sincerity and tears coming, because tears only come for those things Gurudev said that we are attached to. So, Srila Gurudev was explaining what is real kirtan. Real kirtan, he said, that person who is maybe off on their own. No one appreciates their voice, maybe because it's choked and it's cracking and off tune and tears pouring from their eyes, but their heart is breaking and they're calling out for the mercy of Guru, Gauranga and Radha and Krishna. He said that is real kirtan. All of the other stuff, the stuff for show, who is looking at me, like Sudevi said, we had that joke when we were younger. Nitai Gaur, look at me. We all know, Nitai Gaur, look at me. Everyone's like, wow, look at that. And all the girls are going, oh my God, what a heartthrob, right? The way he's playing Mridanga so expertly, like that. And the kartal players are competing and everyone's trying to get the attention of everyone else. Gurudev said, this can be the farthest thing away from kirtan. Using the name of Krishna only for my own kanaka, kamani and prakishta.
Saraswati Thakur says, do not take the name of the Lord in vain. And then he said, vain means for vanity, for my own vanity. Not calling the name of the Lord, that's never in vain.
Right.
Vain means for vanity.
What is my vanity? For my own wealth, for my own sense gratification, for my own name, fame, position, power, all of these things. This is the result of nam aparad. I'm doing these external activities, but my intention is not for the service of Guru, Gauranga, Radha and Krishna. My intention is for my own self-aggrandizement. That is called taking the name of the Lord in vain. That is what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said. It's not when people are calling out, maybe, it might be, you say the name of the Lord in some, oh God, like that, oh my God, whatever. That's not the real meaning. It's actually for my own vanity. So, all of our gurus, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all of our shastras, they're teaching us how to approach the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, feeling oneself so low, lower than a straw in the street, more tolerant than a tree, not expecting any respect for oneself. This is really difficult because we want that. We want to at least be acknowledged. I'm doing well, right? It's okay, right? How was it? It was okay. That much, most people need something like that. But without expecting anything for oneself, amana. And ready and willing to give all respect and honor to others. In such a state of mind, in such a state of being, one can take shelter of the holy names constantly. This is a very high level to come to. But Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj explained, how can one develop this paramartic or transcendental humility? Not just being in the association of equals or those lesser than ourselves, but really taking the association, being under the guidance of someone who is truly great, like our Gurudev, like Srila Prabhupada, like all of our Rupanuga, Gaudiya, Guru Varga. In their association, most of us, if we're a little bit honest, will feel very, very small and insignificant. So being in that association, then we can learn humility. In that, seeing how great they are and how small we are. And then, when we chant the holy name, we will feel ourselves very, very little, small, very, very insignificant. And somehow this is attractive to Krishna.
Like Srila Haridas Thakur said to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he wanted to leave this world, Mahaprabhu was saying, how can I be without you? And Haridas Thakur said, what is the difference? What does it matter if an insignificant ant leaves this world? How does the world change? What does it benefit or not?
What does it matter?
What does it matter? That was his mood, and that melted the heart of Mahaprabhu.
So on that note, coming to humility. Humility, I wanted to mention yesterday, and I just need to mention it very quickly. Humility means to be humble to Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas, the pure Vaishnavas. Humility means to be humble to the truth, to submit to the truth, and to be ready to be kicked, hated, spat on, even killed, but not giving up the truth. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, one is not fit to be a chanter of the kirtan of Hari unless they are willing to always be truthful in all circumstances and not at all cower and become controlled by untruth. So this is very essential. I wanted to mention it yesterday.
Or to be silent.
Or to be silent. Because, as Sri Ramachandra says, silence is complicity. So what is the truth? Satyam Param, that is Krishna. Parasatya is Krishna. Advait Gyan, the supreme non-dual absolute truth, that is Krishna. And love for Krishna. Everything eternal. So to represent Krishna, to represent the pure devotees, to submit to the truth, then we can do kirtan. This is the real meaning of Trinadapi Suni Chenam. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupal Guru Varga ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bo. Please don't depart. We have with us Thakurji, who are showing off their new Shringara.
Gurudev said that they want to travel the world and see their devotees everywhere. So very fortunately we're able to follow that order, even by sitting in Vrindavan. All around the world the devotees get to have their darshan and they get to see all of you. So, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna all very much for being with us today and giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga, and also for giving us the opportunity to follow the order of our Srila Gurudev to continue traveling the world to all of your homes and preaching his mission, as he actually said, to inspire on his behalf. So we feel indebted to each and every one of you. We look forward to being with you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Radhe
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Shri Radha Vino Bihari Ju Sachinandana Gaur Hari
Ki Jai.